wedding traditions. You'd probably be surprised at the number of Indian wedding rituals and traditions that take place. The parts of an Indian wedding consist of pre-wedding rituals and the traditions that take place on the day of the wedding. I'm going to start off talking about pre-wedding rituals. According to Marcia Bhatti of the Huffington Post, the first pre-wedding tradition is known as piety. This tradition is performed by the groom and the bride at their own homes days prior to the wedding. The piety ritual is said to bring good luck to the bride and groom. During this tradition, a yellow paste made out of turmeric and other things are applied to the body of the bride and the groom. The next pre-wedding ritual that I'm going to talk about is called Mehndi. This tradition is performed primarily just on the bride's side, and it's where the bride, her friends, and her family come together excuse me, and a henna artist tattoos on the hands and feet. Excuse me. This is a party-like atmosphere where this takes place. The bride's family and friends are all wearing bright colors, and they sing traditional music, and they also dance. Now I'm going to go into the traditions that take place on the day of the wedding. According to Bhatti, the first wedding day tradition is called Barat. In this tradition, the groom comes in on a horse, and it's a procession of his family and his friends. They come in dancing to the drum called boha, and during this tradition, the groom comes up to the door of the event. And it goes into the next tradition, which is called Milani, and this is the meeting of the families. The groom is met by the bride's mother at the door, and she puts a garland of flowers around his neck and embraces him. Then the bride and the groom's family both exchange hugs and garland, and he's brought into the wedding tent, which is called a mandap, by the bride's family. And this tent represents the home that the bride and groom will now have together. The next wedding day tradition, according to Bhatti, is known as the Kana Agman, and it's the arrival of the bride. The bride is escorted in by her maternal aunt and uncle, and the maternal family escorting her in signifies that the maternal family approves of the union that's about to take place. In different Indian traditions, the bride can be brought in by sisters or cousins or even close family friends. It depends on where in India they're from. Another Indian wedding tradition that I want to talk about is called Kadaman and Hastamelip, and it's the giving away of the bride. The father pours water on the hand of the bride, and then he places the bride's hand into that of the groom. The female relatives, whether it's the cousins or the sisters, tie the scarf of the groom and the sari of the bride together, this signifying the prosperity, unity, and happiness of their marriage, and the actual knot signifies the eternal bond of their marriage. The last Indian ritual I want to tell you about today is called Sapadi, and it's known as the 7 sacred steps. The husband and the wife take 7 steps together, with each step proclaiming a vow of their lives together, somewhat of like promises that they're making to each other. One of the vows that I really like is, together we will remain lifelong partners and achieve salvation. In conclusion, I've talked to you about pre-wedding rituals and wedding traditions that happen on the day of the wedding. Indian weddings can be very elaborate, and I hope I have expanded your knowledge during this speech about the Indian culture. Any questions?
Yes, Ashley. I do want to ask you, as far as you mentioned something about a knot tying, what does that represent?
The knot tying signifies the eternal bond that the husband and wife will have together in their new life.
I have a question. What is the typical time span of an Indian wedding?
Okay, Indian wedding, depending on the pre-wedding rituals and the traditions and rituals on the day of, the average time span is about a week, but it does depend on the amount of rituals that take place.
I have a question. How many different types of ritual are there?
Okay. I've researched, during my research of Indian wedding culture, I've researched 13 different rituals, but it does depend on the place in India where you're from, because they can practice more than 13 rituals. But when I studied, I learned about the 13 main rituals, and I wasn't able to go over them all today. I just gave you a taste because there's so much and they're very elaborate.
I have a last question. Of all the traditions you have studied, what is your favorite?
My favorite Indian tradition that I've studied would probably be Mehndi, and that's because to me it kind of makes the family closer, the bride's family, because they get together the night before the wedding or the day before, and they have somewhat of a party after they're tattooed with him. They have a party and a celebration the day before the wife moves on to live with her husband.